the most poisonous plant ever. Now, there are quite a lot of poisonous plants, but one of the most poisonous that you actually come across quite frequently is oleander. Oleander is a very, very popular type of kind of garden plant or used in landscaping design, things like that. You've probably seen it before. Very beautiful flowering plant with pink flowers, that sort of thing. The thing about oleander that a lot of people don't know is that it is extremely, extremely toxic, not just to humans, but to the majority of animals. To your dog, to horses, to grazing animals. So the thing about oleander is that pretty much all parts of the plant are extremely toxic. The flowers, the leaves, the stems, the branches. So good news, not too many people these days die of ingesting oleander because it has a very, very bitter taste. So if you taste it by accident, you'll probably spit it out because it tastes so bad. Now, there still have been a few deaths from ingesting this, usually by children or by animals. But the thing about this plant is that it can, one leaf, if you ingest one leaf, you can easily perish because of how it affects the heart specifically. It has something called cardiac glycosides, and that really affects the heart in a vast many ways. And besides the heart, it also affects the gastrointestinal system and the central nervous system. Now, the gastrointestinal effects are more immediate than some of the other ones. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, extreme painful cramps, all that good stuff. Then, besides just the gastrointestinal symptoms, you will notice many negative differences in the way your heart works, specifically your heart rate. Usually it makes your heart race very quickly, then it is very soon later slowed to an unusual rate. Now, this will really mess with your circulation. Once your heart slows down, your blood will not be able to flow as efficiently throughout your body, and that can cause, chills, discoloration, you become very pale, kind of loss of sensation in the extremities, your blood can't really flow there as efficiently anymore. Then you get the central nervous system symptoms, which can be quite varied. Usually people get very drowsy, they get confused, some people get tremors, their muscles start twitching and shaking. A lot of people end up collapsing, having seizures, going into a coma, so not great. And of course, death is the obvious end result here if the poisoning really is that severe. Some people also get some more unique symptoms like blurred vision and even seeing halos around certain things, almost like migraine halos. Now, interestingly, even just touching the oleander plant, well, specifically the sap of the oleander plant, can even harm you because it can definitely cause dermatitis. And besides dermatitis, it can cause severe inflammation of the eyes, if you get it in your eyes, allergic reactions, inflammation, not great. Now, if a person is poisoned by oleander, if they accidentally ingest quite a lot of it, fortunately there are ways to avoid the worst outcomes. And of course, calling poison control is the number one thing you should do. Usually people are brought to the hospital and they have to go through certain things, gastric lavage, maybe charcoal administration, things like that, to try and absorb that toxin and just get it out of the body as fast as possible. Fortunately, like I said before, very few people perish from ingesting oleander because it's so bitter. Most people don't even swallow it, but if they do swallow it, they can get pretty good treatment. The symptoms will last 1 to 3 days, then usually the person can leave the hospital. But in general, if you see an oleander plant or if you have one, it is important to be a little bit careful around it, especially if you have either pets or young children in that area, because you might not eat the oleander plant, but someone else may. Also, oleander twigs and again any parts of the plant should not be used as tools. So some people have used oleander twigs as a poker for, they put the hot dog on it for their camping adventures, and they roast a hot dog with the oleander twig, and that can get the oleander toxins into the hot dog, which then go into you, and then you get sick. So again, if you see an oleander plant and you can recognize it, don't use any part of it. Just stay away from it. Don't touch it. Don't even look at it. You know, it's just best to avoid interaction with the oleander plant. So this is just one example of many, many very poisonous plants that you can encounter quite easily, maybe without even knowing it, in your daily life. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if it was, don't forget to leave a like and maybe subscribe. And I make videos a few times throughout the week, so don't miss those.